Correct.
Good evening, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to episode 66 of Word Ninjas Live. We have survived Rhode Island Comic Con and are already 5 days into NaNoWriMo.
No.
Yeah. Those are going to be the two main talking points for this week's episode because there's a lot to cover. And because we are all kind of ignoring the fact that NaNo has actually already started, we're going to roll into our first talking point, which is Rhode Island Comic Con 2014.
Popcorn time.
A fair amount of people are kind of curious as to our perspectives on this from what I've heard and seen over the past couple of days, so we want to give a full, proper review. Normally, the whole phrase is the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are going to flip that upside down, effectively, and do the ugly first, then the bad, and end on the good. So, first, the ugly. There was a lot of it, and we all have our gripes in this regard. Rather than just do around the table, I want this to actually be a free-for-all discussion. Anyone can chime in when they so choose. But what were the ugly parts of Rhode Island Comic Con 2014 for us?
Oh, can we start with pack in on Friday?
Let's.
Let's just start with Friday and go forward, because each day has its own ugly moments.
We could even start before that. Just the directions to get there were a mess.
If we want to start before Friday, let's start with we applied as vendors because the artists' delineation was mostly for actual fan-made art and that style stuff, whereas we're sort of a mix. So I figured vendors would be the more appropriate genre for us. And, I mean, they had the both options. It was still cheaper than some other conventions we've done. Great, fine, good. Finally filled out the form after about 2 hours of futzing about with it because it didn't like certain browsers and a digital signature system that didn't like digital signatures. I still don't have an actual copy of that vendor agreement that I signed, so I have no proof that I actually signed that, which I don't really appreciate, but that's the type of system it was. I had no email confirmation that we actually were approved, because apparently it was a pay-to-play type scenario. Pay the fee, they have a table, you're good to go.
And that worked so well.
I don't know what back-end system they're using, so I can't really say how complicated it would be to have added an auto-reply feature. Once you finish the whole application process, get just a generic response saying, thank you for applying. Because you're a vendor and you've paid, once this payment clears, you're confirmed as a vendor. Something straightforward like that. I feel like that would have been nice. I had to go through my various industry connections to go behind the scenes to people who worked at that staff to find out that's what happens, that you pay to play.
And anybody without those connections would have been shit out of luck.
I mean, there's various social media forums where you can ask, like, what's going on here? You can email them, and hopefully they were responsive at some point to some degree. They never did respond to my email that I sent to them via that particular email address, but thankfully we found the answers we needed, so we were lucky in that respect. But we were never told what sort of layout we were going to be given, what the floor layout was, what the building layout was. Are the vendors separated from the artists? Nothing like that. So we couldn't promote who else is going to be there for vendors, where we're going to be in the show until the day of. I would have liked to have done that, because it seemed like a very fun convention at the time.
And even still, the day of, like, we still didn't know like who was going to be there as vendors.
I still don't know who was there.
Like, the best we had was this random map by the information booth that just had the layout of the convention. Just numbers, no names, just numbers.
It's really weird since every other big convention I've ever seen in advance has these floor layouts with who's going to be there. Even smaller ones have that. Yet, not this big one, which has been around for 3 years.
Even the smallest convention that we went to this year, admittedly did not give us a floor plan layout, but responded to us saying all the vendors and artists are in the exact same room. We don't really have the full layout yet, but if we do beforehand, we'll let you know. They were responsive, and that was appreciated.
Brooklyn Book Festival had like a whole pamphlet that had like all the names, all the schedule, everything. It was like a whole magazine that they gave you.
Right. That was a nice one too.
Very.
Even a listing of the vendors would have been nice.
That's my very frustrating, ugly part for this convention is the vendors were not advertised, period. Not before, not during, not after. Not on their website, not in their little promotional booklet, nothing. Vendors effectively did not exist to them.
Even though half the artists were interspersed with the vendors.
Yes. Now, I don't know what the behind-the-scenes issues or logistics were. I don't know what the staff abilities were, who was running the website, who was covering that. We just don't know, so I can't really say why they did what they did the way they did it. Just from my perspective, that was incredibly frustrating, and I sincerely hope that they fix that for future years, because to have promotions for artists, special guests, cosplayers, but not vendors. Something just doesn't feel right about that.
We can roll that into another problem that happened, but I don't know if you really want to talk about it.
It depends on which one.
The handling of certain types of vendors.
That's on the list, so if you want to kick it off, by all means.
Well, because for me, it kind of rolls one into the other. And it makes that even seem worse to me, because they're not advertising vendors. We were unfortunately witness to not so legal vendors. And that even gives me even more of a sour taste in my mouth when you're purposely not advertising your vendors and then you have these types of people at your show. What are you trying to hide, and why are you being so sketchy about it? That's the way it feels to me. And the fact that when it was even brought to their attention, nothing was done about it. That's an ugly for me personally.
Considering all I personally heard was second-hand accounts of why it was the way it was, I cannot personally say this is what happened or these people should have been kicked out. I didn't actually go to the booth.
I was witness.
I didn't have time, but
yeah, I was witness to at least one first-hand bootlegger, and a friend of my own that was with us, and John, we love you. Him and I both actually approached security about it when we found the first booth, and of course we told them everything that was going on, and they're like, "Okay, no problem, we'll handle it." And then later in the day, the booth is still there. They're still doing business. They've still got clearly illegal things out in the open. Like I said, that left a real bad taste in my mouth.
I've seen that happen at other conventions where materials or merchandise that was not in line with the agreements for vendors or artists was brought to the convention staff or security. To the best of my memory, they were asked to leave that day, whatever day it happened to have been addressed, if not banned from all future events for that particular convention.
Yeah, I was aware of one other instance at another convention that I was at where it was brought to their attention and they were gone in the blink of an eye. It's like that morning they were there, you go back, we went back by there not even but about 2 hours later, and they were gone. That's the way it should be handled. I mean, as an industry, as an industry, people like that. I mean, they yell at fan artists and people who are legitimately trying to contribute to the fandoms and the industries about what we do, and they can't even get rid of these people that are gouging people with subpar product. I could rant all day, and I'm not going to.
I wonder if, because of what we're ultimately going to get to about the other stuff that went on in the convention, I wonder if dealing with that kind of stuff became a hilariously low priority on their long laundry list of things they had to take care of.
That's possible.
I think that is what was happening there, because it was about the same time that they were dealing with the bigger issue that happened this past weekend. So they were more probably concerned with that fire at the time.
Right.
Hopefully that is the case, because if that vendor happens to return for next year and does the same thing, that is just not even remotely acceptable. Not simply because it's unethical, but it is also officially, legally illegal, both for state Rhode Island rules and federal rules. Like, it's pretty black and white. There's no real gray area about the materials they were trying to put out as licensed materials from the photos and recordings that I saw.
Yeah, and like I said, seeing at least this one booth firsthand myself, it was clearly printer done slips in the cases. They were things these things were even like yanked off of YouTube like 5 years ago stuff. It's like, bad porn, live blades, the whole 9 yards. These guys were bad. And there was little kids roaming in and out of this stuff all day long.
Yeah, this was a very family-friendly convention in that all ages were allowed. They even had a little kiddie convention area.
Did you say there was pornography there?
There was.
Are we in Japan or some of the other seedier Chinese places in New York?
It was hentai.
All right, okay. I'm on board now. Sorry, I take it all back.
Yeah, no, and this was out in plain sight where even little kids could have gotten their hands on it, picked it up, blatant nudity and whatnot on the covers.
I will say that with Kineticon, which is a family-friendly convention, they have specific rules of what is and is not allowed to be viewable on their tables.
Exactly.
You can have adult material, last I remember, but it has to be shielded, covered, set aside. You can have a sign saying adult materials upon request, stuff like that. Same for artists, just as much as vendors, but not within blatant view.
And I will say there is a doujinshi booth that I visit at Kineticon every year, and every year they card me before they let me go through the boxes, which is perfect.
They even carded me the one time I looked there, and that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable.
Yep.
And appreciated, because it shows they're actually paying attention.
And they're being responsible about the content that they have.
Mm.
I'm all for the responsible consumption of pornographic material, but as long as it's responsible.
Yes. Before we go for another half hour on this one aspect, shall we dive into the other part of the ugliness?
Oh, you mean the multitude of anxiety attacks brought on by the claustrophobia?
The other part. I was going to go with the not being able to count tickets issue.
That kind of rolls into that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away.
How do you... I have not figured this one out yet, and I've been reading all kinds of like YouTube stuff and Facebook stuff. I'm still trying to figure out how they managed to like triple sell for the weekend.
So here's the numbers that I've seen in regards to this. Last year, they had 17,000 attendees throughout the entire convention time. So I guess both days. So I guess, really Google Voice? That's the whole thing. No. Going on. They had 17,000 people last year across the whole weekend, so individual days and all weekends, the VIP packages, all of it. 17,000 people. From what I can tell, that building holds at most 10,000 at any single time. That includes staff, vendors, everything, the whole works. So 17,000 across 2 days, that's fine. You're just pretty much at the limit, presuming all those people flow through in a reasonable manner. They hit 20,000 people on day one.
Yeah.
Because, from what I can tell, they were selling their tickets online through their website. So that's one outlet. They had Ticketmaster sales, which was not being synchronized with their website sales. And then they had a Groupon, which I'm presuming did not synchronize with the other two either.
And they were selling at the door.
And they were selling at the door
Yeah.
through Sunday. So that's 4 distinct outlets, none of them synchronized to each other in regards to ticket count or head count. There is their first really big problem in figuring out why so many people showed up. And that is why the fire marshal was brought in and effectively shut the place down. No one could go in because people had to start trickling out. Because on Saturday, there were that many people in the vendors area and everywhere else, you could not move.
And
as
thus,
I'm sure Ed could attest.
and thus we get into the claustrophobic panic attack mode. Just leaving the booth. And that was not appreciated.
I
Even
think
worse than that, I heard people were passing out because they were trapped in mobs and couldn't get to food or water or anything.
That was just down in the hallway while they were waiting.
I mean, we were lucky in that we had a little bit of food at the table and a whole case of bottled water, so we could at least stay hydrated. But regular
Which
guests,
was not easy to get in at all.
yeah,
There was that. Yeah.
Which is another thing. I can understand no outside food or drink for patrons because, I mean, it's a little silly, but they want them to buy it from the convention center. But when you're a vendor or an artist and you're there all day, you can't always leave your booth. We're lucky that we're 4 people. Some artists, it's just 1 person at a booth.
Exactly.
They need to be able to bring in their own food and water.
and I think Calvin and I spent a good hour and a half looking at all of the various food options. Meanwhile, the lines were understandably long, given the situation, but we ended up having to go through the very same lines as everyone else because we were starving, and we didn't want to pass out.
Right.
Even Kineticon technically has a no outside food or drink, but they have multiple cafeterias you can buy from, and they allow vendors to sell food.
Yes.
And they will allow outside water.
I think by state law they're required to in Connecticut. I guess Rhode Island doesn't have that law.
They should get on that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rhode Island Convention Center only had 2 places.
Yeah, the little one in the corner in the dealer's room and that little cafe out on the main floor, right?
No, they had 2 along the back wall, but they were exactly the same thing. And then they had the cafe outside of the vendors area, but that was it from what I saw.
And the cafe outside was mostly just like candy.
Yeah, I think there was a little counter behind that, but good luck getting near it.
Yeah, the line for that was unreal. With that little cafe outside, that snaked out to the entrance, close to the entrance from the parking lot.
Oof.
I'm hoping for future years they synchronize all of their ticket selling efforts so they can better keep track of just how many tickets have they actually sold so that doesn't happen. Because that is not feasible. You can't have that many people coming in the same day.
They need one place selling tickets, and that's it, because then they can track it.
And no Groupons.
Yeah, no Groupon. No
They
Groupon.
They jeopardized a lot of people that weekend. The patrons and those that run the convention center as well. That's not a good look for the convention center at all. I mean,
In
granted,
their official apology, they said that this is the first time in, what was it, 33 years that that convention center was ever over capacity like that.
Mm.
So go Rhode Island Comic Con for breaking a good tradition for the convention center.
Oh, and did I mention that the lockouts of the vendor room also prevented vendors from getting back to their tables?
And special guests for their various panels and signature time things, autographs
Yeah, their photo shoot, their photo op things,
that
and
some people paid upwards of $300 to do.
which is crazy in and of itself. But it is what it is.
And of course, the people who missed it on Saturday were told, come back in on Sunday. So now you had all the people that wanted it on Saturday heading in on Sunday time. So surprise, surprise, it happened again on Sunday.
They were a little more on top of it on Sunday, cutting people off before it got ridiculous. But
Yeah, at least from the look of it, they were honoring the Saturday ones and people who had bought for Sunday before they were allowing anybody else to do it.
Yeah, they were making announcements for photo ops where ticket holders were allowed first, and you needed to have a prepaid ticket in order to get the photo op. And then after that, if there was time left, you could pay then and there for a photo op.
It's part of the reason why. This is part of the reason why we didn't try to approach any of the bigger names, like the really big ones. Would have loved to, but no.
Yeah, I think all of us kind of had our nope to this moments on Saturday alone.
yeah, the closest I got to William Shatner was the picture I took of his signing booth about 30 feet away.
There was a reason that halfway through Saturday I decided I'm just going to stay at the booth for the most part. It's safe here.
I think we all kind of had that moment at some point.
Yeah, there were moments walking through the worst of Saturday where if there was a clear way out from the crowd, I would have taken it, even if I had to take someone out to do it.
I was taking people out to get it.
Yeah, there was just no clear out, or even no unclear out. It was just a mob of people.
Ask Calvin, he was with me when I almost completely Ed freaked. Full on Ed rant freaked because of how closed up we were.
Yeah, I tried my very best to keep you calm. I did the best I could.
You were amazing, sweetheart. Thank you.
And I would have been right along there next to you. Large crowds, not a huge fan. The Coffee and Tea Festival last year was a wreck because there was just so many people there. There's 10 people in a row, shoulder to shoulder, in an aisle, all packed up like sheep going to the slaughter.
This was about what Saturday was.
And I would have hid behind the booth and never gotten out and just starved to death.
Yeah, I'm not claustrophobic, and I had a claustrophobic moment that weekend when I went down the wrong alleyway, where it was just shoulder to shoulder people, no way out, and even I was like, okay, out, please. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, usually he's the one keeping me calm.
I'm not a big fan of crowds either, but I think New Yorker mode hit me, and I just figured out a way to traverse the crowd without going into a panic. Just snaking through crowds. If any of you have ever seen me walk down the street in Manhattan, you know what I'm talking about. It's I've mastered the art of finding holes in crowds. It's like a human game of Snake down the street. And I've gotten that down to an art. And so I think that's what kept me from freaking out in that crowd. I was surprisingly calm throughout that entire weekend with that many people next to me and around me.
Like I said, I don't know how you did it.
It also could be the fact that I realized I needed to be calm for you, Ed, so you wouldn't freak out. Just making sure we made it outside, or at least somewhere with enough space for you to breathe.
Yes. Even if it was just the back row of the dealer's room where the artists were. Because it was like that one stretch where that one row had like nobody in it, and I'm like, breathe. Yay! I can at least breathe. Now we gotta try and make it back across the room. Not happening. Not happening. I need it out of that room.
Yeah, that art area was surprisingly calm and comfortable place to go. Whenever it got hectic, you just headed all the way over there, and it was nice and relaxing.
Mm.
And the artists were amazing.
Yes. We can talk about that during the good.
Yes.
Yeah, the ugly and the bad have kind of merged together at this point, so...
Yeah. Well, because there was such a gray line between just the bad and the ugly, because they kind of... They were... And I hate to say it, it was kind of a show of extremes. There was the really good, and then there was the, oh my god, that's it, done, terrible.
Yeah, in regards to Guild Arts and your comment on this episode, we're going to get to the good, so at least wait for that before you say you don't want to even think about going to any conventions, because even in the worst of it, we made the most of it. We just wanted to cover off on everything that really made it hard to get to the good parts.
Ultimately, with any convention, you're going to have the good with the bad, but oftentimes the good will outweigh the bad.
We've gotten good at making the good outweigh the bad.
Right.
We kind of have.
I think we've gotten that down to a science now at this point.
Even if there has to be alcohol involved.
By any means necessary, okay?
That's right.
Speaking of alcohol, we'll get to that too.
Yes, we will.
Are there any other uglies or bads or critiques that we'd like to toss in before rolling into the good stuff?
Just one thing. The Code Atoms. They are supposed to do all clears, which I think we only heard one out of like the dozen or so that were called.
Yeah, and that was only because it led right into another one. They went, all clear, by the way, here's another Code Atom.
Yeah.
In one message. Which is funny because when they did the all clear, everyone started cheering, and as people were cheering, they went, we have another Code Atom.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the Code Atoms were also a byproduct of the overcrowding and selling and whatnot. But still, an all clear would have been nice.
Yeah.
Just so that we, because, we have hearts and we want to make sure kids get back to their parents.
Right.
And for those not familiar with what that code means, it means a child is separated from their parent. And they have either the parent or the child at a specific location. And they need to make the two meet.
I have a feeling a lot of the Code Atoms from Saturday, excuse me, were actually because a parent had stepped outside to get some fresh air, smoke a cigarette, or find some food, and then returned to find that they were not allowed in, but their child was still inside the convention center. And the only way to get the child back out was to issue a Code Atom to get the child to come to the front doors.
Hopefully that's what happened. Because if you just have one kid standing at like the TARDIS, meanwhile the parent is outside and can't get in, what are you going to do?
But with how crowded it was, there could have been some legit ones where they just got separated in a crowd and
oh yeah,
that was it.
It was very hard to even... We went in pairs everywhere. It was pretty hard to stay in pairs, right, going down aisles.
Yeah, it was very rare, buddy. And we're like grown adults. Buddy system. Nope.
Well,
else.
Grown adults is a bit of a stretch for us.
Legally.
Legal adults.
We're legal adults.
One thing that I found interesting throughout the weekend was the various forms of lack of communication, but one thing that I found hilariously sad was the lack of communication between the announcers.
Oh, you mean the talking over
Yeah.
each other?
Yes.
Some of them had a good sense of humor about it, though.
That is true. That is true. As I was saying,
They may also want to invest in finding a more energetic announcer, because the one they had was very monotone, very lackluster, and I get the feeling she wasn't reading what she was supposed to be saying first with her awkward pauses.
I mean, it may have just been someone who's not really in the know with a lot of the fandoms and names and celebrities and whatnot. It could have been a convention center staff member, for all I know.
But the thing is, it was in the middle of normal sentences, like, such and such is at this room at 5:30 to 7.
Yeah, there is that. I can't explain that part away.
No.
I think we might have covered all the bases on that respect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that
we've
was-
been as critical as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
So let's start talking about all the good things that we did and had happen and pulled off.
Yeah,
I wonder who wants to start.
I'm not starting. Actually, I probably should, considering the whole reason that we were even there this weekend, and I will take the blame for it. It's my fault. But okay, so and I'm not gonna say his last name even now because I still can't say it right without choking on it. But
I actually did figure out how to pronounce his name properly. Thank you, Wikipedia and the International Phonetic Alphabet. Yes!
yes. Well, see, the thing is I can say it, but every time I actually have to say it on demand, like right now, or when I got an interview with said certain person, I trip over it. I get tongue-tied and done. I was lucky. Okay, Calvin, you say it because I can't.
Vic fucking A.
I'm not the only one.
Vic Mignogna. There we go.
Thank you. As most people probably know, he was the entire reason why I threw this convention in CJ's face to begin with and said, we have to go. So, Saturday was an amazing experience. I actually got to meet him and had the picture taken with him and everything else, and life was great. That was definitely like a high point for me. That was the second on the list of high points for me, even though it happened before the first one.
For those who don't know, who is this person?
He is, oh god, what doesn't Vic do?
Fairy tale.
What's that?
Fairy tale.
Yeah, it's probably about the only thing he's not in.
Yet.
Yet. He's a voice actor, singer, songwriter. The list goes on and on. Some of the things people would recognize him for, obviously Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist. He has his own web series, Star Trek Continues. Again, songwriter. You go to his, you can actually look him up on YouTube and his songs will come up a mile long. But again, being that he is the voice of Edward Elric, he was like, yes, I have to. I have been dying to meet him forever.
No,
So,
I would say the role of Edward is probably common vernacular even for people who don't follow a lot of anime.
Yeah, most people would know him for that.
Yes.
Your average person.
Like me.
Yes. And then there are the crazy fan people like me that are like nose deep in his IMDb and yeah. But first of all, I want to say too that he is an amazing sweetheart. I was not expecting how nice. I knew he was a nice guy. I was not expecting how nice.
Like, I can attest to that. He was above and beyond nice.
Especially considering what he probably had to go through for this whole thing. Handlers or otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was lucky too. He was on an end, so he was actually very easy to access and to come and go. And unlike some of the other celebrities who were like trapped in the middle of like everything.
I feel terrible for anybody who was on our side of aisle 1300.
Oh God, the WWE guys with the megaphone. I love their enthusiasm, I really do. But a bullhorn in there was not necessary. Especially right behind our booth, they were so loud. You couldn't even talk over them. Oh my God, it was so bad. But okay, so yeah, like I said, meeting him was the top two highlights of my weekend. The number one highlight for this, and this is what Calvin can attest to because he was with me.
Yes.
I actually had the balls to ask Vic for an interview, and I got it.
Yes.
It was like 5 minutes, but we got it. And thus, I say again, he is more of an amazing sweetheart than I could have ever imagined.
Like it flowed so incredibly well too. Like I can't wait to post it up. I'm done editing it. I just have to finish the Times video because I want that to post first before that one. It just says just to show how we got everything started off. But I have to say I am so unbelievably, incredibly proud of you. You did such a fantastic job in this interview.
Considering I've never, ever, 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 ever done one before.
Right.
Ever.
You had the enthusiasm, the excitement, and
he called me the best Hughes ever. He called me the best Hughes ever. Because I got to shove the picture in his face.
His reaction to it, too, it was, you couldn't have asked for anything better.
Like I said, he's an amazing man. There's a reason why he is one of my inspirations.
Yes.
He's one of my biggest inspirations as far as just doing what you love doing. So yeah. that just made it even better.
He validated our reason being at this convention.
Yes.
Best interview we got at the whole convention.
Only interview we got at the entire convention. Who are you trying to kid? It's just because I'm a raving fanboy.
Hey, we made the best of our press passes, man.
We did. We really did. And we made a lot of friends too.
Yes.
We met a lot of wonderful people that weekend as well.
Saw a lot of people from Inconceivable there. A couple people from Kineticon even.
Yep, that's right.
So it's nice being able to start seeing repeat people. A little weird when they recognize you, but it's kind of a nice feeling.
It's a very nice feeling.
That was definitely one of my highs for the weekend. One of the Inconceivable people came to our booth after being able to find it finally, with a bit of help from some of you guys.
It was probably when Will, Calvin, and I were down at Rusty's.
Yeah.
Because we ran into her down there.
And being able to hear that they really appreciated all the panels that we did and how well received they were, and knowing that the job we did was really well done and all that. So it's nice to hear that we're actually appreciated out there. And people do remember us.
Hooray!
And we love you for this. We really do.
Yes.
And I think the other highs for that weekend were more after the show, or after the workday, as it were. Being able to roam Providence and have excessive amounts of food.
Calvin almost killing himself for photographs.
A couple times around.
Worth it.
I'm sorry, I believe it's my fault that he did all that.
We blamed you. We're like, Justin wanted inspirational photographs. Then we spent an hour walking around downtown Providence.
Yes, but it was fun.
Hmm.
I have to take this at a low angle, slightly tilted to the right. I have to.
You have no idea.
I have an idea.
You do
That's
not, man.
exactly what it was.
Oh, that
Right.
wasn't a jest. I'm
And
sure.
then some.
Do I need to show you the picture of Calvin laying on the sidewalk?
Calvin had 2 lenses with him and took multiple photos of each object he took pictures of with each lens from different angles.
And this is why I said I was in charge of holding his equipment the entire time.
Yes.
Somebody had to.
Meanwhile, as the boss and the one who's held liable for his minions, I walked away.
Don't worry, I yelled at him plenty for
Nothing
you.
happens.
Smart.
Yeah. Ed yelled at me, especially when I was trying to get that shot of the it wasn't a statue, but this
The lighthouse?
that lighthouse, the lighthouse structure, but it was in the middle of the street, and I mean, I was doing my best to like keep myself away from traffic. Come on, I'm from New York. I know how to dodge traffic.
Yes, but you were still giving me a heart attack.
Long story short, I did get the shot.
It's a beautiful
Yeah, I
shot.
was happy.
It better be posted on our website at some point.
Along with the other 600 plus pictures I took that weekend.
Hmm.
That gallery is going to be amazing.
It's oh yeah. I can't wait for you guys to see the last part of the time lapse. I wish I had taken more video of like random moments during the weekend, but I got a few like really good random moments that I'm tacking on to the end of the time lapse, and I think you guys will enjoy it.
Please tell me that my head dent is not one of them.
Speaking of, CJ, get a little closer to the camera for me.
I think it's still there.
Yep, it is.
It's going to be there for a while.
Hey, you got lucky. Your unfortunate moment didn't make the camera. Like wasn't in plain view of the camera.
Good.
Just out of shot.
Good.
You are becoming your muse, though.
Shush.
And if you call me Mama Ed again, I'm gonna beat you.
Well, that's what you get.
You should have watched where you were going and listening the first time.
I was watching where I was going, just not in every single direction.
Yeah, the next time I
Yeah,
tell
but
you to put
seriously.
pressure on it, just do it. You're gonna stop bleeding a lot faster.
Seriously though, that looked like that hurt like hell.
It did. But it was one of those like, okay, that really, really hurt, but I've had pain like that before, so it's probably not going to show. No, there's blood. Oh, crap.
And he was just so deadpan, too, when he realized, oh, crap, I am bleeding. Oh, hello.
Well, that's what happens when people prop those giant metal wire wall things for merchandise on a dolly, so it's at a slant. And then because of my wire frames, it was perfectly positioned, so the corner was right in my blind spot. I could not see it. I knew peripherally it was somewhere over there, but I thought I was farther away. So it just goes thwack.
If it makes
Thankfully,
you,
missing my frames, missing my glasses, missing my eye.
if it makes you feel any better, I almost clocked myself on it, too.
Oh, I almost did at least a half dozen times beforehand as well. That was the last time.
Yeah. And Calvin clocking his head constantly on our cube wires.
Scrubbing through the time lapse, there you only see one instance of that happening. like the main time that everybody except Will missed. Will was there for the big one.
This was when CJ and I were going to move the car.
Right.
Hmm.
And he had to walk me back so I didn't get lost.
Special shout out, thank you to Sheepy for lending us her cubes.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we thought, oh, we only need one more set because we already have one. We'll be fine with two. And then I meet up with Sheep, and she gives me three. Like, what the hell are we going to do with three of these? Good lord. Never mind that they go everywhere in my trunk because I didn't close them. And then I thought, well, why do I have to do three of them now? Even more. And then we used all three of them.
Pretty much.
It was at least 2.5.
Mm.
Right. Well, we ultimately came up with a pretty decent merchandise structure for our table.
It evolves every time and becomes a little more efficient.
And I have more ideas for next time.
Ooh, okay.
Things that... One of the great things about walking around the Artist's Alley is I tend to pick up all kinds of stuff, and not just the art, but in talking to the artists and seeing the way they hook up their booths and things like that, and what works and what doesn't. So there was a few things that I had seen done that I would like to try with like our stuff at some point.
Well, there's enough conventions out there that people keep inviting us to, so you might get your opportunity at some point.
Hey, it's great to be wanted, isn't it?
Yes.
No, I don't see any of us complaining.
Right.
That's just more exposure. That's just more exposure for us.
Not so much complaining as, okay, well, there's not really enough warning to coordinate this one, so next time.
Yeah.
I think I made the unofficial declaration of if it's like in state, preferably a 2-month warning or some such, and then if it's out of state, a 3-month warning, so we can at least discuss it and figure out viability.
Right.
And, if hotels are necessary and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, no 1-week notices.
Granted,
Yeah, no.
after all was said and done, this convention was the cheapest one for the year, between all the badges and the hotel, and even, well, maybe not the travel. Or food, but...
The food included a massive sushi plate.
Yeah. The Titanic.
We sunk it.
With enthusiasm.
Boy, did we.
One more awesome,
Did I-
fun thing from the weekend.
Yeah, that was a fantastic restaurant.
It really was. Shout out to the Suma.
Mm.
If you're in Providence, stop in. Amazing food.
Yes.
Good luck
So-
finding it or anything in Providence, that area of Providence, though.
But once you find a place to park, it's actually not that hard to find. It's just parking your car.
Navigating the endless gauntlet of one-way streets.
We're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not. 'Cause it got me too. Well, let's see what else. Is there anything else that we...
It was kind of nice being like 3 very short blocks away from the convention center. It was just a straight shot down the street to get there. And the hotel was pretty nice, despite not being as accessible for wheelie suitcases as I would have liked.
And karaoke night right below us.
Yeah, could have been quieter.
I was rather impressed that they managed to vibrate the floor and toilet seat cover thing.
Oh, the tank cover, yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive.
Too bad the singing wasn't.
Yeah, it was completely unwanted, but we made do.
We did.
that was a pretty swank hotel. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't want to say ritzier than I expected, but
This is coming from a group that regularly goes to the Marriott or the Hilton for conventions simply because that's where the hotels happen to be. And this was a little swankier.
I want to say it was more old-fashioned, like back when you had those grand hotels that lacked the 13th floor and whatnot.
Hmm.
it definitely had a Ghostbusters feel to it. If anybody remembers that scene outside of this room.
For all we know, those people were staying at that hotel.
It's true. They did have the Ghostbusters of, what was it, New Hampshire, I think, there this weekend?
I think it was.
I think it was New Hampshire.
All I remember from the hotel was from the video game The Giant Spider Lady on the 13th floor.
It's kind of a shame that Justin wasn't able to join us because I can only imagine his commentary.
Now, when you say it's a
entire
shame,
Well, there were several points where at least I stopped to think, I wonder what Justin would have to say to this.
I wouldn't have even been able to be hospitality man at that point if I couldn't leave and come back.
Hmm.
Yeah, it sounded like a cluster F. Through and through.
But we made the most of it, as we do.
We are extremely hilariously professional.
Just so you know, CJ, I am randomly checking the comments on the video.
Have you seen your comment?
I just did, and I have responded to it.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of
Call
videos.
me Mama Ed again.
Okay.
Not you. At least it's better than being called short.
Mhm.
You were saying, Calvin? Oh,
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So, while you guys were all at Rhode Island, Rhode Island Connecticut Comic-Con, I don't know what anything is anymore. Oh, am I on mute? No, I'm all set. I was busy doing Inspire the Muse stuff at the NaNoWriMo events this weekend.
How did that turn out?
Well, actually, it's funny. I ended up being at the thing 5 minutes late because I got caught in traffic, and anyone who's driven in 95 near our area knows exactly where I hit that traffic.
yeah.
Because there's an off-ramp that has maybe a 3-car length before it hits an intersection. It's very poorly designed. So I ended up there a little bit late, and as CJ can attest to, I had work week of Doom as well, and work weekend of Doom, and actually worked all day on Sunday while I was at one of the writing events that I was hosting. So instead of writing my novel, I was logged into my work computer and doing work. Well, the first day was absolutely amazing. We had over 20 people show up. I instantly ran out of goodie bags that I put together. I went to a couple of places to get some more goodie stuff. I always was bothered, CJ, that you always provided us matches, but never anything to light the matches with besides the paper bag itself. So I bought some scented and unscented tea candles to throw into the Muse bag.
Cool.
So I went to town, got a whole bunch of stuff. Everyone really liked the bags. There were a lot of new people there, people new to our group, people new to NaNo. And through it all, I kind of have a mental list of things I would like to do slightly different
As
for
you do.
further years. I'm always very critical about how things are set up. I think, at least for Fairfield County Writers Group, we should probably invest in a couple extension cords that we just bring to every event.
We had them at the convention.
Ah. Oh, speaking of things that we didn't get to trade off, we also didn't have any of the reference books this weekend because I didn't go to the thing on Thursday because I was busy working.
They're right there on the shelf.
And then I totally forgot to ask for them on a later date, which wouldn't have mattered because
there was no later date.
But I made do with some of my reference books that I happened to bring over. And no one really used them. It was very quiet. I said right at the beginning, I said, no one likes to be the bad guy. I will be that person. This is still a library. We're going to keep it to a dull roar. A lot of people think it's fine to play music. There are people that have complained about that in the past. So we're not going to play music out loud. If you want to wear headphones quietly, that's perfectly fine and up to you. But we're not going to do that. And people were quietly tapping away, and it probably wasn't as loud and active as previous years. There weren't any like word sprints or impromptu stuff like that. Everyone was. There were some side conversations, and it was kept. We kept breaking. Like there was an hour of just straight up everyone typing, and then someone would say something, and then we would go back and forth and banter for a little while as a group. But yeah, it went really well. And then the Stratford Library one, the room that you and I did the intro to NaNo thing at was not the room that we got, as you know. This room was actually in the basement in the non-fiction reference section where you had to go through a set of stairs through a mechanical room and then into a bunch of bookshelves, and you had to navigate through the bookshelves to find our little writing room.
How adventurous.
And there were a couple people that couldn't find us because one other thing that we should probably do is get a whole bunch of signs. And maybe there are signs and I didn't know about it, but we should get some signs that we can put up.
Something like that.
Yes, something like that.
For tables, and then they have larger ones for just posting on doors.
Yeah, and then one other thing that would be cool to give out to people, especially new people that show up to the write-in events, is a little pamphlet that we can put together that has our Facebook group link, our contact information. We do have a full coverage writer's card, but it's not really specific to NaNo. There's some other stuff that could be added.
Not anymore.
Yeah, we got rid of all of those pretty quickly over the weekend.
That box had approximately 400 cards in it, because that was a 500 card box.
Well, we still have about 35 left, I'd say then.
Yeah, I mean the box that was pretty empty we're not like empty, but I'd say we had at least about half that box when we started on Friday.
Then about 250.
And yeah, I think we had about a dozen left at the end of Sunday.
I had 5.
Huh, even better.
I gave back everything that was in my jacket, I think.
I think those were the 5. But yeah, we need to update a lot of the promotional stuff that we can just toss out for FCWG, FCW, NaNo-specific stuff, everything else.
That's future CJ's problem.
Yay!
Do you need a new business card design?
Yes. Desperately.
On it.
Yeah. Calvin, could I bug you for one too?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because mine's on just little pieces of paper.
And for the love of all that is holy and unholy, can we put the freaking website on there, not just in the email address, because it confuses everyone. Every single person who has ever looked at it gets confused.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to just make a general business card.
Yes.
No specific names, just full coverage writers, information, all that other good stuff, social media, and their website link.
You can tell us one of the general email addresses on there, like Word Ninja or Administration.
Okay.
One of those.
Yeah. And no one actually uses QR codes anymore, so you don't have to worry about that.
Planning on it. just gonna be our logo, and
No, people don't do logos anymore either, Calvin. I don't know if you've been following.
says you.
It's all about icons with single letters or shapes. No such thing as a logo anymore.
Eventually, it's just going to degrade into nothing but binary braille.
That's actually not. I mean, that's technically what the QR code is. To be fair.
We'll cross that road when we get to it.
We should have NFC tag business cards, so people can just tap the business card to the phone.
Only if you're willing to pay for that.
Nope.
That's on you.
Neither am
Oh,
I.
the Hobby Man says not in the budget. It was his idea, so it's a bad sign. So that's what I was doing NaNo event-wise. Speaking of NaNo, how many of us have started? Hooray! So,
Kinda.
I have a double thing going on where, so I couldn't this weekend do any writing because I was working from the writing location, but also I am dumb and decided that I was going to type out my NaNo novel on a typewriter, which I also cannot bring to write-ins because this is incredibly annoying, and I wouldn't want to put anyone through that. So I go to the writing events to get my muse going. I've got a couple reference books that I'm going through, inspiration cards, stuff like that. I got a what-if scenario book that's really cool. A whole bunch of reference books that I brought that I really like. So I've been going through that and having a good time with that. But I still haven't done the thing to my typewriter that I need to do. But I have a 4-day weekend coming up, theoretically. So I should be able to catch up a little bit and see how feasible typing a novel on a typewriter is in 30 days is.
I'm basically in a similar situation as you. I did not write anything this weekend because reasons, and I have yet to start writing anything because then it was playing catch-up at work and then coordinating everything else ever. And my latest plan was I'm going to play catch-up on Friday because I'm taking the day off. Because reasons. And now it looks like that's not going to happen either. So...
They're not giving you the vacation time that you have to burn or lose?
No, I am getting the day off, but I am getting kidnapped. So...
Is Sheepy kidnapping you?
I'm getting sheep-napped. So,
that's
what are you going to do?
That's not a terrible problem to have.
So I guess I'm going to...
Seems like a worthwhile exchange.
What was that?
It seems like a worthwhile exchange.
Just so you guys know, I'm having quite the conversations in the comments on our
I'm
video.
having fun reading it.
Okay, as long as somebody is.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the write-in events this weekend will be a good time to either start or play catch-up. Because otherwise, this is not how a municipal liaison should set an example.
Our pep talks that were sent out were dour.
Here are your 2 co-MLs. Neither of us have started. Have fun.
But we're super excited, question mark?
I am excited to start my story, and I know once I start my story, the momentum will kick in and keep going, and it won't be as bad. It's just that initial start. The longer I wait, the worse it's going to get. If I'm good, I'll work on the train tomorrow since I got to go to New York. So that's 3 hours of uninterrupted, dedicated time. I'm not going to be conscious or happy, but I'll be on the train. Friday, all bets are off.
And Calvin, I'm disappointed. He brought up happy and you didn't do it.
Oh, shoot.
I don't even want to know, but...
You still want me to do it?
Yes! Do it.
Wow!
Why?
I'm frighteningly good at that.
Yeah,
For
you were
reference,
Why do I recognize that sound?
Hold on.
oh,
Wait, you played it and then you got a notification right after, right?
yes, well done.
Yes.
So there you go. That is my notification sound for anyone who's curious.
Missed it.
And there is a lot of me doing that on the weekend.
It really was. We need to record you doing it.
I think we just did.
Oh,
No,
perfect.
well, no, we need one like your really good voice recorder.
Well, at least it's not my text message sound.
Wait, which one is your text message?
Banana.
I am a banana!
God damn it.
And then there's Facebook. Spoon!
We heard that a lot over the weekend.
It's the only way I can differentiate them.
Is
Okay,
the spoon too big by any chance?
I have a quick question for my friend Gildarts here. I am curious if he is the one that wrote the wonderful fan fiction of CJ's.
Yes.
Oh boy, this might be fun.
I don't like where that conversation's going.
He has invoked Ed.
I don't like where that conversation's going.
Yeah,
We also did a live reading of that over the weekend.
Oh, I missed it. That would have been fun.
Was that on recording?
No.
Yeah, maybe. Was because we read it? Oh no, we read it at the restaurant, huh?
Hotel. We didn't read that at the restaurant.
No.
Because I know we were recording for a while at the restaurant. I mean, at the hotel.
The hotel, yes, not the restaurant.
Yeah, I know. My brain it's fried. Like I said, I am medicated. Leave me alone.
Okay, now I have to scrub through the video and the audio.
Although that was a very interesting conversation, ramblings that we got into while recording.
Oh yeah, I was trying to explain earlier in the podcast. We had gotten a decent amount of video. Well, not a whole lot, but a solid amount of recording in the hotel during our downtime, and so that will be posted sometime this week. It's basically Moonshine Taste Test Part 2.
Which, yeah, no.
And I gotta thank Caitlin again for inspiring that one.
Although we do have a recommendation of whiskeys in our comments for this video. Thank you, Peter.
I am intrigued by it.
So am I.
I'll have to vet all of these as the resident whiskey expert.
Let me see. Let me grab up the comment here real quick. He mentioned something about honey, ginger, lemon, whiskey cordial, which, first of all, is a mouthful. And the first person that says that's what she said. It just, I'm not a ginger lemon fan, but then again, we have whiskey involved and honey, and I'd be willing to give it a try. Shut up.
Actually, the ginger flavored meads are really good.
Ginger
I love
mead.
ginger.
Yep, ginger, coriander, and other things. Really good. Orange peel.
Where do you find such things?
You make it.
I demand that you do this. As your boss. Executive override. It must be done.
I'd be more than happy to help out with that.
Are you saying that I need to start brewing official, whatever name we're going to use when I actually brew the thing? Brews?
Not
we
on a
talked
live
about this
recording.
over the weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be under the Inspire the Brews moniker.
Well, I do have all of the equipment.
Oh, we have a recipe.
Oh,
boy.
goodness.
Oh boy.
We have a recipe. Hold on.
Don't let Caitlin know. Knowing her, she'd fly from Colorado to come have fun with us.
Am I allowed to screen share?
And probably kidnap Richie along the way. Sure.
If that is the case, then I wholeheartedly encourage that to happen.
Okay. Well, we have a book recommendation. Hold on.
Nice.
dear.
Screen share. Where's the screen share?
The funky green image with an arrow.
There we go. Okay, screen share.
This podcast is getting really meta right now.
Okay, so the wonderful cordial rest that I mentioned a moment ago from Peter, he said he found in this book cordials from your kitchen, easy, elegant liqueurs you can make and give.
Nice.
Ooh, I want to make homemade ouzo. That would be fun.
It says it's here.
Dangerous, but fun.
So for those of y'all recommending things for us, here you go.
And hey, it's conveniently one of our birthdays tomorrow. If you want to donate one of these copies to us, by all means.
Oh, do we need to sing happy birthday to a certain fearless leader before
I
the night is
will
out?
boot you all off this show.
I ain't singing no songs.
No.
Where's the mute button?
Okay, I'm going to turn the screen share off now.
Okay.
Stop. There we go.
No.
Wait, no, 2 days. It's Wednesday. Feels
That's
a
right.
lot later in the week than it is.
It was a long weekend.
Yeah, that kind of threw things off.
Uh,
I do enjoy those weekends, even though we're technically working like 10-hour days.
It
It's a
doesn't
lot of
feel
fun.
like working.
Most of the time. We were talking about how no one was nanoing yet. How did we get onto this topic?
Because I mentioned that because I'm monitoring the comments.
And now there's fire.
I made you a birthday candle. See, you're 1 year old.
Wait. Where's the button? Eject.
No.
I gotta keep remembering to mute myself as I was dealing with our comments. I has loud keyboard. I can't type and yeah. So
Fair enough.
I'm monitoring comments.
Okay. I'm really hoping that this week 1 for Nano is the equivalent of week 2, where it all seems kind of impossible, but then we can swap it so next week can be week 1.
Do you want me to get really sad for a second? Because it's actually technically week 2, because it started on a Saturday, was it? Sunday? Friday?
Started on a Saturday. It's not the 7th yet.
So
The
that's-
full week has not technically
Yeah,
happened.
but that week 1 already happened. It was only 2 days long, or 1 day long. This is
Depends
already
on when you
week.
start your week. I go by the 7 days in a week rule.
I go by the Sunday. This is the hard out.
Yeah, well, you're weird.
I guess so are most calendars then. And my paychecks.
Actually, that's technically just in America. I believe in other countries, Monday is the start of the week and Sunday is the last day of the week.
Yep.
That's the way I always thought of it,
Nope.
which made a lot of calendars very annoying for me.
Yeah, it's just I think it's just in America that Sunday is day 1 of the week, and in other countries it's Monday.
That's probably why Justin and I have so many calendar problems, because we're looking at different calendars, and I think it starts on one day, and he thinks it starts on a different one. So our numbers never seem to align.
Or you're always wrong. One or the other.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
It's mostly column B.
I never said which column was which.
Damn it. Well, you know what would be nice, CJ? Is if we had some sort of inspiration, some sort of food for our muses that we could potentially use to continue our nanoing, or even starting our nanoing, as most of us are finding ourselves at.
If only.
If only we had a section in our podcast literally dedicated to just that.
That would be rather nice, wouldn't it?
It would be, and it's a good thing that none of this is also found online with the incredible back catalog of muse foods that we have.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. You should get working on that idea.
We should.
Oh, where is that? Oh god, so many notifications. Yeah,
This isn't my fault, is it?
No, it's just comments. I get notifications in 20 different places in 20 different ways. I get like an email, and then I get a YouTube thing, and then I get a Google Plus thing, and then some of those send emails. Now I know how Natsu feels. And the last one I see is, whiskey is a food.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. It's made from grain.
It's a liquid food.
It's technically food.
Kind of like how wine can be boiled down effectively, semantics-wise, into fruit salad?
Yes, sure. Although that may be considered distillation, which wouldn't be legal. But
on that awkward note, let's do some muse food, shall we?
yes.
Oh, right. Screen share silliness. Move everything over.
Hey, I recognize some of these one-liners.
Go to the correct window, press the screen share, do the thing, hide all the porn. Okay, there we go. As with every week, we provide all sorts of various creative prompts. And it's time for said prompts. If you're new to this show, we provide a combination of one-liners, some one-worders, a combination of Rory's story cubes, a musical prompt, and an artistic prompt.
The cubes are actually aligned this time. I'm so proud of you.
I was tempted to shake them and then screen share it or screenshot it, but I figured I'll be nice this time around.
Excellent.
Just wait until next week, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. I'm frightened.
I was going to say we normally do 10 one-liners, but I just copied and pasted from some of our convention stories this week and didn't count them, so I don't know how many there actually are. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not 10, but close enough.
Yeah, they're good ones, though.
Yeah. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, we have 5 segments and 5 people. That's rather convenient.
I don't know how to read music.
I'll take
them. Do the one-liners because I know where the first one came from.
I'll take the music one. You can all fight it out, Coliseum style, for the others.
I suppose I should probably take the artistic one, huh?
Mandatory volunteerism. There we go.
Cubes. I'll do cubes.
Okay.
Or if you don't want Calvin, I'll do the one-liners.
No, I was muted. I wanted to do the one-liners.
Oh, then you do it.
Yeah, I was going to do the one-worders.
Okay, then, like I said, I'll take the art prompt then.
We should do this ahead of time next time.
I missed this quality content?
Oh, what fun is that?
As we've learned in previous attempts at everything, being ourselves is best. And this is ourselves.
Yes!
For better or worse, mostly worse.
That's what makes it better.
All right.
Note.
So, our one-line writing prompts. Am I getting an echo?
Yes.
Yeah, you're the one-liners.
Yep.
Ute.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
All right. So the one-line writing prompts this week are: he told me that cigarettes taste awful. Meanwhile, he likes strawberries. I've never used something so archaic before.
I remember hearing that one.
When in doubt, write something dark to elicit an emotion from the reader. It was terrible, but some of the zombies were very fashionable. If you can be anything, be a unicorn, wrote a small girl locked in her bedroom. Man, it's hot in here. And there, in the depths of my soul, lies the one true treasure that will cure the evils of mankind: pizza. Beware of the dwarf. And those are our one-line writing prompts for the week, even if some of them were somewhat ad-libbed. Mainly that first one.
A little bit.
A little bit. Probably for the best.
We can tell Justin about it later.
All right. Your one-word writing prompts for this week are as follows: doorbells, expiring, spear, vision, whisper, kindly, obsidian, clockwork, headphones, and exercise.
Today's story cues are what I choose to believe is a man eating a giant ice cream sandwich because that is too large for a regular cookie, and I have had an ice cream sandwich that was that large before, and it was not a good choice. Let's see, what else is here? A snake. A person that attempted to catch something, but the thing fell quite a distance away from where he was trying to catch. I see an egg with a large crack on it. It's probably not a velociraptor, but I don't want to take any chances. There's a horrible alien face. There's a kid who has an evil shadow for a shadow. There is a delicious-looking mushroom, and by delicious I mean hallucinogenic. And there is a large man looking at a small man who is looking back at the large man, or there's a trick in perspective, much like the Lord of the Rings movies, where that second guy is actually hilariously far away. And then the last one, it's kind of hard to see on my low-resolution screen, but it looks like a guy is punching the other guy repeatedly into the stomach. Can someone clarify that picture for me?
Yeah, it's two people fighting pretty dirty.
Okay, so that was not my horrible imagination.
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
And those are your animated story cues for today.
The musical prompt for this week is a dotted half note C, dotted half note A, whole note G. And if there is a musical joke in there, I am not familiar enough with it to know what that would be.
Wait, you sure that second note's an A or an E?
That's an E. My mistake. It should have been an A because that's what was submitted to me.
Ah.
I forgot to lower it.
Whoops.
Nah, it's still your musical prompt for this week. Have fun with it.
And the last but not least, the artistic prompt for the week is chaos.
How fitting.
Indeed.
I was gonna add something to chaos, but no, that's enough.
Yeah.
I think
I'm saying.
and I have a feeling my submission to that is going to be the commission that I have to get done. Considering I don't draw Attack on Titan. So this is going to be interesting.
Be glad that your the piece you have to work on came out before the latest second to last issue of Naruto, because I can only imagine what your commissions would be then.
Considering Naruto is on my list of things that I will draw.
Have fun with that next week. as the entire fandom implodes. Explodes. And then
Yeah.
cries.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about this.
Can I talk about something that would also make you sad?
God, no. What are you going to do to me?
I think I already know.
I have a piece of fan art that you can draw.
I am not.
You're gonna get smacked.
I already know where this is going, and I'm not doing it. There are 2 episodes we do not talk about, Justin. 2!
The Futurama episode with the dog. And speaking of dogs.
I am not drawing Nina Xander.
Fine.
Not doing it. Not doing it. Right, I might do it. If you're gonna do it.
On that note, what's the next segment? Oh, hey, productivity highs and lows. We have those.
You're productive this weekend? I guess it encompasses the whole week.
Yes, not just today. All right. What sort of productivity highs and lows did we each have this week? Going in order, hey, it's my turn. There were several "this is how we're going to make this work" type of moments throughout the weekend, despite all of the chaos. Admittedly, it was mostly after work hours, but we had some pretty good moments of "this is what we want to do." And that was really nice. And very much needed, I think, for all of us. We're still working on the whole "how do we make that happen" part. But at least we kind of have some ideas now of where we want to be heading.
Is there any recordings that I could peruse, even in their raw, unedited form?
That would be on Calvin.
I have nothing uploaded just yet.
Oh, you can just send me directly, or maybe they're too big.
Yeah, they're pretty big files. The audio's pretty large. Maybe I can Dropbox some more, some sort of cloud storage.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that off the air.
Cool.
Thank God I brought it up on the air.
The high-low was Chaos Con, as we've detailed already. And I'm just going to say, effectively, I've survived another damn year of life. I'm 2 days away from 29. It's close enough.
I was going to say we technically don't know that yet.
I'm working on surviving 2 more days.
I have faith in you.
Pull it off. But considering all that's been tossed, at least my way, over the past few years, this is comparatively impressive. So I feel accomplished.
Hooray!
And I'm gonna count that as a high. How about Will and his productivities?
Okay. Let's see, my productivity very, very awesome high was that I completed and posted chapter 25 of My Roommate's a Stripper before the end of the last month.
Yay!
Before we went off, it was the 30th, before we went off to Rhode Island Comic Con and all the chaos happened. It's the first chapter I'd posted in, months and months and months. So it made me really happy to complete one and get it posted. So that's a very big, emotional, successful high for me. Downside is I'm unsure how to start the next chapter. I know mostly what scenes I want in there, but I'm still finagling about exactly how to go about the next step. But I definitely want to do it this month because I'm going to include a Thanksgiving scene, and it seems appropriate to release it in November. But for now, it's sort of a semi-low because I'm just sitting here going, word make. And then, of course, there was the surviving of Rhode Island Comic Con, which is just a high, a low, everywhere in between. We had everything this past weekend. So that's pretty much it for now.
And how about Justin?
All 3 of mine are lows, but with high twists. So on, I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, I had somewhat of an existential crisis, and then I had to look up what an Oh, I spelled it wrong on this page. That's why I can't pronounce it correctly. Or no, I did it right. Existential crisis. I had to look it up to make sure I was actually having it, and it turns out I was. And I decided, I'm going to just have to get over it. And that's sort of what I did. And I'm going to try not to think about it for a little while. Maybe do some writing on it. We'll see. But for now, everything's fine, pretty much. Starting NaNo late is a low, but the outlook is still good. I do have the typewriter gadget thingy that I have to install. There'll be more on that next week. And I'm really excited to start typing away on it. Like, I still have that passion and the excitement in me, and so hopefully that will propel me to get a really good start on it. I'm sure it will taper out and now fail over time, but for now, keep that as a high. And then third, the work of doom comes to a hilarious close. So I worked, as I mentioned before, over the weekend, and worked super hard all week. And then come Monday, talked to the customer, and I'm like, yeah, I plan on delivering everything, in the next couple days. I know you have a very important meeting that everything has to be, done by, in 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, that meeting? Oh, yeah, we moved that to the middle of December. And at that point, I basically hung up and walked out of the room. But because I worked over the weekend and missed my Halloween day off that I was planning on taking to do a Hellraiser movie marathon, I have an extra vacation day and an extra day of comp time, so I'm going to take a 4-day weekend this weekend and catch up on all the things I need to do, including apartment happenings, company happenings, writing happenings. I have a huge list. CJ, the list that we have for the things that we have to do, that's not even a fourth of what my personal list is. And not all of it is get my last alt character on Diablo 3 to level 70. That's only one line on the list. Most of the stuff is productive.
Hey, that's productive too.
So yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I'm trying to convince one of my friends to come down and help me out and or play video games all day. And we'll see how that goes.
We better hear next week that you actually took this 4-day weekend to its full extent.
Well, considering I just bought tickets to go see Interstellar in 70mm IMAX an hour away at 10:30 in the morning on Friday, I better take the day off.
I think we will be collectively disappointed in you if you do not take a full 4-day weekend.
I will keep you guys posted.
All right, that brings us to Calvin.
All right. What did I write here?
Stuff.
Let's see. By some weird miracle, I either overcame or just straight up forgot about my fear of crowds during Rhode Island Comic Con. The crowds didn't bother me for some reason. There's just a whole lot of people and me trying to find ways to snake through the crowd. Let's see. So, obviously, that's a high. Let's see what else. I began editing the videos from Rhode Island Comic Con. I've got one done, one almost done. And side note, I have to complete the song that I started putting together this past Friday to complete that video. So that's automatic new completed song. So sub high.
Hooray!
And just after this convention, I just have a general boost of confidence, especially being able to accomplish everything I did, all the pictures I took, all the people I got to meet, all the stars I got to meet, between Vic, Brian O'Halloran from Clerks, I got to chat with Richard Horvitz for a little bit. I met Rob Van Dam, Mick Foley, and the Acolytes. So, that was my high school fanboy moment right there. So I'm feeling pretty good after this weekend. So that's a definite high for me.
Yeah, I haven't followed wrestling since first college, but it is pretty impressive the lineup that they got for the convention.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of sorry I missed Booker T, but I wasn't going through aisle 1300.
Why ever not? That was actually one thing I was curious about for aisle 1300. Why was it thinner than every other aisle on top of everything else? Like, they couldn't have given them that couple extra feet that every other aisle got?
I think it was something with the columns.
Oh.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah. Well, wasn't it the columns that was the reason why we ended up having that that nice 2 feet of secret space behind us?
Yes.
That was a godsend.
Oh. Yeah.
Alright, that means it's the last person on the crew's turn to talk about stuffs.
Oh, you mean I have to take a break from the comments? Hold on.
At least for a minute.
Hey, I've been having fun. Okay, leave me alone.
But it's my job to pester you people.
I know it is. Okay, so of course my high and low is very similar to just about everybody else's, with the craziness of Rhode Island Chaos Con and the multitude of anxiety attacks. But that was a low, but not killing anybody because of them was definitely a high.
I do appreciate the lack of murder.
Is Rhode Island Chaos Con something we came up with, or is that a thing that's going around social media?
People beat us
It's
to
a
it.
thing.
That was a trending topic Saturday night.
That's beautiful and poetic.
It is definitely a thing. It's not ours.
Hmm.
We can't claim credit to that.
That was actually
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So that was the tag going around. I know, at least on Facebook.
Mm.
And Twitter.
I didn't see Twitter, so.
Yeah, so. I still have my favorite tweet from the guy from Anime Herald to sum up that Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I should read it though.
You're welcome to.
We're allowed one F-bomb.
All right. Hold on, let me grab it real quick. But Ed, you can continue.
Okay. Let's see. So my medium ground thing is actually, using the double shift that was forced on me Monday after we got home to actually, start writing my NaNo story, although I didn't get very far. But I at least started. It's handwritten, but I started. So that's a positive thing. Considering I have about 90% of the story already written in my head, it's just a matter of, transcribing it. And, of course, my super high we've already gone into over and over again, so I don't need to do it. But, yeah, the whole thing with Vic is definitely my super high for the week. I'm not going to babble on anymore about that, though, because I don't need to.
You've got everything you need on video.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the Twitter post from Mike from Anime Herald. So, Rhode Island Con done fucked the dog this year. Kind of got turned away at the entrance this morning. Interestingly enough, the term "fuck the dog" precedes "screw the pooch."
Huh. And now that you've said it twice, we're now rated R for this episode.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Explicit. All the cool people are doing it.
We got nothing on the Fairy Tale podcast, at least.
At least we give people fair warning.
Yeah.
We gave him fair warning. Yeah.
Alright, back to my comments world.
Yep. So those are the productivity highs and lows from us for this week. Let's see. What else do we got for a show? We have a segment that doesn't exist yet in the show notes. Okay. Well, for events, that was it. We got nothing else on the calendar for this year, and I don't really want to put anything else on the calendar for this year. That being said, there's a lot of stuff going on even in January that we're going to have to talk about off the air to at least discuss in a rational and respectable manner, not just say F no. At least not outright. We'll see.
I'm glad our Skype chats aren't public.
Yeah.
That's pay-to-play premium content.
Yep.
No one needs to see that.
We do have bootleg things on the Skype chat, so that's appropriate.
Wow.
So as I was saying, events. None left for the year. I mean, most of us are participating in NaNoWriMo throughout all of November.
At some point.
At some point, eventually. And the only other event we have confirmed is Kineticon 2015. Everything else is still in discussion. So keep an eye out. Once we learn more or confirm anything, we'll toss it up there accordingly. And seeing as we've already ran an hour and 50 minutes, I'm sure Justin is already getting cranky.
Nope, I mentally told myself this would be to the 9 o'clock podcast, so we're still good.
Oh, well, in that case, let's add something else to the show then.
That's fine.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I'm sure we can find something.
No, yeah, keep going.
All
All
right.
that, baby.
All right. Well, with that, that's going to actually wrap up our show. We've said our piece in regards to Rhode Island Comic-Con, talked about how NaNo hasn't really kicked off properly for most of us, and all the other things that we like to ramble about in our regular episodes. So, with that, let's see here. If you're watching us, you've already found the YouTube channel. Congrats. Eventually, this is going to be pulled off for audio so I can toss it up onto the Libsyn feed. That has been a roller coaster of activity because I'm also still trying to put the backlog on there, but what is it? inspirethemuse.libsyn.com is the full audio feed for both all of the Word Ninjas live episodes and the not suitable for Word Ninjas podcast episodes. As many of them on there as is feasible have been posted. We have limited bandwidth per month in regards to uploads, but I'm getting there. So if you're more of an audio person, by all means check that out. If you're more for social media, you can chat with us via Twitter at FCWordNinja. Tumblr is fcwordninja.tumblr.com. And as has been raised, yes, we are going to work on the tags, so if you search for some stuff on our Tumblr page, you can actually find it. And I'm sure people will remind me of that regularly because I'm horrible about tagging.
Is it on our list of doom?
Probably. If not, it will be.
Okay.
If you're more of a Facebook person, it's facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. And if you made it to Rhode Island Comic Con and were not able to get in, or if you just simply missed us at any of the conventions, we do have an Etsy store. And Ed is the store master.
Yes.
It's etsy.com/shop/fullcoveragewriters. If you have any questions or anything, send it to shop@fcwriters.com.
Store. At fcwriters.com.
Close. Only
Or-
a is off.
Yep.
But yeah, we have a majority of our stuff up there for you to peruse if you missed it at any of the shows. Definitely worth checking out. And it helps support us so that we can do more of our crazy shenanigans and endeavors and go to more conventions so we can get other interviews with fantastic peoples.
And I am always open to new product ideas or suggestions, so please send them.
I have one.
Uh-oh.
This is one I would like to work on, and I'll tell you about it off camera.
No,
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
Well, on that note, moving on then. This podcast and all the other crazy endeavors that you see is brought to you by Full Coverage Writers. The website fcwriters.com has the entire backlog of our podcasts, all of the interviews and event stuffs that we have, all of our worksheets, workshops, all of the Muse Food backlog, everything on there. So definitely worth checking out if you want more inspiration or just more distraction from us crazy peoples. And that's all the various organization links that we have. Time to wrap it up in the next 7 minutes before Justin gets cranky by saying, who are we peoples and where can everyone find us on the internet? I will kick things off by saying my personal Tumblr is fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. The only thing I tend to tag on there is anything that's NSFW. So if you use XKit or anything like that and you have that blacklisted, then you're safe. Otherwise, all bets are off. You can also track me down on the Fairy Tale podcast as Mockeroff, Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are also nanoing, my nano buddy ID is YGJunkie85, because that's who I was over 10 years ago. And anything else for contact information is in the show notes, so go check those. How about going over to the video? Will.
All right. Mostly, excuse me, you can find me on Tumblr, on my personal blog at darkhom.tumblr.com. That's DARKHOM. Like CJI tag the not safe for work stuff at NSFW. So if you have that blacklisted, no need to worry. You can also find work for This My Story in Progress at myroommatesastripper.tumblr.com, which is updating again. Yay!
Yay. I'm ignoring that comment. Continue.
Huh?
That was all I had.
No. Who's next on the list? Justin.
Yes. As of the end of this 4-day weekend, my website will be up and running, and I'll have lots of pictures involving my typewriter, I'm sure, at mechanicalJustin.com, which is really just redirecting to my Tumblr. But don't tell anyone. It's a secret. And I'll probably start posting again on Twitter at MechaJustin, because Twitter has a character limit for usernames, and Mechanical Justin does not fit.
Wasn't it like only one character off as well?
It's one character off. Every other social media I'm fine, except Twitter, because F you, that's why. And I was going to put Mech Justin, and I can still technically change my Twitter handle if I come up with something a little bit more clever, which I probably will. But for now, it's Mecha Justin. I'm sorry. It's dumb.
That's no worse than YGJunkie85, so...
No, that is for sure.
Alright, how about Calvin?
Alright, like I mentioned last week, I have 2 Tumblrs now. I got my everyday Tumblr, which is instacal.tumblr.com, and my creative Tumblr, stateofcalvin.tumblr.com, which is where I'm going to be posting songs, rants, and other creative and personal things that happen to come to mind. Oh, yeah, you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at CCWII. So there.
And rounding things out, our resident shorty, Ed.
Ooh, he's not going to like that. Not one bit. And it's muted.
Still muted.
It's probably for the best.
Hey, I was working on fixing my contact information in the show notes, and my keyboard is loud. And this, I have one thing to say to you, fearless leader.
Only one thing.
I thought it was going to be happy birthday, but the middle finger was just...
No. I am encouraging the use of media to embarrass fearless leader with happy birthdays. I don't know if he's been paying attention to the comments or not.
I missed that one. All I saw was the pole dancing comment.
Oh, I missed that one. I haven't gotten to that yet. No. I've been encouraging our viewers and whatnot to send you their renditions of Happy Birthday.
Via what? Via what contact method?
Whatever's in the show notes.
All of them.
All of them.
Snail mail.
That's gonna be fun to feel. Lovely.
Call me Shorty again.
Happy birthday fanfic, perhaps.
I'm encouraging this too.
Happy birthday, gender swap fanfic.
Whatever makes him happy. Okay, so like I said, I've been trying to fix my contact information. Give me a second. That's what I was in the middle of. Okay.
While you're doing that, one comment that I noticed was the Hemming right that we talked about last episode, I think, apparently is going to be at the Engadget Expand New York conference this weekend.
If I didn't have plans already, I'd be going to that.
If I knew that was even a thing and wasn't helping run 2 events and being kidnapped on Friday, sheep-napped on Friday, consider it.
Okay.
They must have at least some working models to play with now.
That'd be great if they did.
I want one.
Okay. I think I got a handle on this now.
All right. Have at it.
Okay, so the best places to find me in my randomness. Probably, let's see, I'll start with Tumblr. The best place to get a hold of me is actually on my personal Tumblr, which is XXX Edcoon XXX. It's all one long thing. .tumblr.com. It is very NSFW, but I tag it, and I am probably the Nazi about tagging in the group.
I'm surprised you haven't smacked me yet.
I know it won't do me any good, and I don't want to hurt my hand on your hard head.
We've seen what my head can take. Not what I meant.
Okay, but so yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, you can contact me through our Etsy store. Please do so. I do have a personal Etsy too, but that's all in the show notes. So if you're really that interested, go ahead and look there. This is why I spent the time fixing all of my contact information in the show notes, so that way you have the right places to find me.
Yay.
One or two now, though.
What's that?
We're only sharing 1 or 2 now.
I know. That's why I share the major ones, and I'm good.
This just in.
Question mark.
Breaking news. I now have a new Twitter handle.
Woohoo!
It's at Mechanical JHI. And don't ask me what the middle initial stands for.
Hubris.
No. But I see what you did there. And I don't
It really
appreciate
is the first word that came to mind.
Shocking. I'm just glad it wasn't whore, because that starts with a W.
That's not the word I heard, but okay. All right. On that note, that's going to round out a show in only 1 minute over the limit.
And most of that was my fault.
We're going to get you for that.
No.
All right, ladies and menfolk, thank you for joining us for another show. We will see you all next week for episode 67, where we will hopefully talk about how productive we've been in Nano and everything else.
Good luck with that.
Nope.
Yeah.
False.
All right. Until next time, all, have a good night.
Adios.